The Tortoise and the Hare, from Aesop's Fables. Once upon a time, at the edge of a great meadow, there lived a hare who was the fastest creature for miles around, and he knew it. Oh, he knew it. Every morning, the hare would race from one end of the meadow to the other, just so everyone could watch. He'd zip past the rabbits and streak by the squirrels, and then he'd skid to a stop in a great cloud of dust and say, "Did you see that? Did everyone see that? I don't even think anyone even blinked before I was finished." And because nobody had blinked before he was finished, they all had to agree. The hare was fast, unbelievably, undeniably fast. Now, in that same meadow, there lived a tortoise. He was old and gray-green and carried his heavy shell wherever he went, which, as you might imagine, was not very far and not very quickly. He spent most of his days plodding along the path that wound through the clover, minding his own business and thinking his own quiet thoughts. But one morning, the hare decided to have a bit of fun. "Well, well, well," the hare announced, blocking the path with his long, lanky legs. "If it isn't old Slowcoach himself. Tell me, Tortoise, did you leave home last Tuesday? Because at the speed you move, I reckon that's about as long as it takes you to get here." The other animals snickered. A few of them tried not to, but the hare had a way of making everything seem kind of funny. The tortoise stopped walking. He lifted his wrinkled head and looked the hare straight in the eye. "Are you quite finished?" the tortoise said. "Finished? I've barely started," the hare cried. "I could run circles around you, old man. Literally circles around you." "I'm sure you could," the tortoise said, calm as a stone. "But I wonder, could you beat me in a race?" The meadow went silent. The hare blinked. Then he grinned. Then he laughed so hard he fell over sideways. "You race me?" the hare howled, tears streaming down his furry face. "Oh, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life." "Then you won't mind accepting," said the tortoise. The hare wiped his eyes and sat up. "You're serious?" "I am. You actually want to race me? You, the slowest creature in the meadow?" "I do," said the tortoise. "And what's more, I bet I'll win." Well, this was too good for the hare to pass up. "Done," he shouted, springing to his feet. "It's a deal." They asked a fox, who was known for being fair, or at least for being clever enough to seem fair, to judge the race. She marked the starting line in the dirt and set the finish at the old stone wall at the far side of the meadow. "On your marks," said the fox. "Get set. Go." And the hare was gone, just like that, a white blur streaking through the grass, kicking up dust and daisies as he tore across the meadow. He rounded the first bend so fast that the wind whistled in his ears. Behind him, the tortoise took one step, then another, and then another. By the time the hare had reached the halfway point, the tortoise was barely past the starting line. The hare glanced over his shoulder, and when he saw how far behind the tortoise was, so far behind he was little more than a speck, the hare laughed out loud. "Oh, this is ridiculous," he said to himself. "I could take a nap and still win with time to spare." And that is exactly what he decided to do. He found a lovely spot beneath a shady oak tree, stretched out his long legs, and folded his paws behind his head. "I'll just rest my eyes for a minute," he murmured. "Just one tiny minute. That tortoise won't even be halfway before I wake up." But 1 minute became 2. 2 became 10. 10 became a great deal more than 10. A warm breeze drifted across the meadow, and the hare sank deeper and deeper into sleep, dreaming of cheering crowds and golden trophies. Meanwhile, the tortoise kept going. One step, then the next step, then the next. He didn't look back. He didn't look ahead. He simply kept moving, steady and sure, the way he had moved his entire life. He passed the first bend. He passed the halfway point. He passed the shady oak tree, where the hare lay sprawled out and snoring like a thunderstorm. The tortoise allowed himself the tiniest of smiles, but he didn't stop. He kept right on plodding. It was the sound of cheering that finally woke the hare. His ears shot up. His eyes flew open. What's happening? He stammered. Then he saw it in the distance, just a few short steps from the finish line, was the tortoise. No, the hare cried. He leapt to his feet and he ran. He ran harder and faster than he had ever run in his entire life. His legs were a blur. His heart hammered in his chest. The finish line grew closer and closer, and it was too late. The tortoise crossed the stone wall, one step ahead of him, and the meadow erupted in cheers. The hare stood there, panting, his ears drooping, unable to believe what had just happened. The tortoise turned to him and smiled, a kind smile, not a gloating one. "Good race," the tortoise said simply. And the hare, for once in his life, had absolutely nothing to say.